Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner. It is Monday, the 12th of February. In today's daily technical update, there are not that many news stories, but still the US equities market ticked higher Friday, and we are very close to 5,033, which is my short-term target here on S&P 500. That means we are above 5,000, obviously. There's still further upside potential, but as mentioned, Friday there is a little bit divergence between the weekly chart, as you can see here on the right side, and the daily chart in terms of the RSI. RSI is still struggling a little bit. It is testing its upper falling trend line here. A break above, well, then there is a good chance that we will see a test of the horizontal line here, which will then mean that we can cancel the divergence picture, but we are a little bit stressed. But however, we're still in an uptrend and it is fairly strong. But 5,033 very close to, and also, as you have seen, I mentioned several times, 5,110. I think we could peak out at least short term there. On Nasdaq 100, also higher Friday, we have about a percent. Very close to touching the 18,000, so 18,030 is likely short-term target, and we are very close to cancelling, if we haven't cancelled already, but very close to cancelling the divergence, RSI divergence on the weekly, and it paves the way or the road higher in coming weeks and going into next month, which is March, obviously. So really strong markets for now, but again, we could see some it is quite stressed, and we could see some correction days, no question about that. But for now, we are still in an uptrend on all fronts. On the European side, we have the EUROSTOXX 50, fairly strong, and is primarily driven by Amsterdam companies or Dutch companies. So we're going to look at that in a moment. We have EUROSTOXX 50 also taking higher, 47.55. I think we will reach. We had divergence on the RSI. It's still a warning sign. It is not a sell signal. It's just a little bit of a warning sign. So trust your trend. It is still in an uptrend. DAX struggling really to get upside momentum around this 17,000 level there. So it's just hovering around and can't really break out. So we need a break, really a break. We got it the other day, so we should have seen it move higher. There is divergence here also on the RSI, but we have potential 17,250, possibly up to around 400 if it really can get its mojo back together, but it's struggling a little bit. What is not struggling is the Amsterdam index, which is ticking higher again today. We can see here opening at the 853 level. So now we have reached the same this as indicated by these two vertical arrows here. It's the same length, but it's just been much faster, and we are in a bit of an overbought mode, and I think we will see a bit of a correction here in coming days. We should see a correction, but let's see that when we have a top and reversal in place. It's not just there yet. Belgian market, and this morning it is opening above the upper falling trend line. So there's a good chance we will resuming uptrend. We actually have a resume uptrend already, but it needs to be confirmed by the RSI closing above 60, and it hasn't done that yet. But for now, I would say potential up to 37.42 on the Belgian market. The CAC 40. Finally, it is breaking higher, and if it can take out the peak of this bearish engulfing here at 7,703, it has cancelled top and reversal, and then there's further upside potential for the CAC 40. And there's a very good chance we are in a positive sentiment on the RSI. SMI, on the other hand, reached almost to test the support here at 11,057. If you've been following my videos, we have talked about this for quite a while, but it seems like we are getting some bouncing here, and buyers are coming and lifting. Also the RSI being lifted there. We are still above the cloud now. We are currently back above the 55 moving average, so we could see a little bit of correction up to around 11,200, but this level here, 11,057, really key support. On the FX side, really not much to report. We have euro dollar touching 108, and now I think we will see sellers coming back in, trying to push the euro dollar back to test the 107 and a quarter support level on cable. Hovering around 126.10, we are in a downtrend. We are also in a negative sentiment, so we should see a push lower here in the coming week. We are below the 55 moving average, so there's a little bit of a negative sentiment and also negative trend. On the dollar yen, on the other hand, that actually took out its resistance at 148.80. Next one is 149.75. That is key. A break above, well, then it paves the road up to 152, but it seems like it's struggling a little bit at the moment, so we could actually see a little bit of a top and reversal pattern here, so keep an eye on that after the doji there Friday. Euro yen, let's see, euro yen also rejected here at 161 resistance and the 786 retracement, so struggling a little bit, and we still have the RSI below 60, but overall it is in a positive sentiment, could move higher, but for now it is struggling a little bit, so that is what you should keep an eye on. Aussie yen, not much to report, caught in this wide range here between 96 and 97 and 80 level, and it really needs to break above that for upside potential. Sterling yen, rejected at just below 189, as we talked about also Friday, and we could see a little bit of a setback here. It really need a break higher or need a break above this level here at 189 for further upside potential. And then let's have a little bit look at the dollar Canada. Seems to be caught in a range between 133.60 and 135.45. 35.45. So that is the range to look out for breakout. Indicators are pointing it all over the place. We have a positive sentiment, but we have a declining 55 moving average. We have a 200 moving average, almost flat, slightly declining, and we have the 100 acting also as a resistance level there. But keep an eye on those two levels. Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar can't really sell off around this 65.20. We are in a downtrend, but this shoulder-head-shoulder pattern maybe won't really materialize. Finally, on the dollar index, also hovering around just below the 104.27. That it did close above, but it couldn't really move higher. But the indicator tells me that it will move higher in coming days, and especially if we get euro dollar lower, then we'll probably see a break. Gold has been fairly boring, for a couple of weeks by now, just dancing around the 2020, 2030, but it is really still the 2064-65 level to the upside, and to the downside 2000 that needs to be broken. What is interesting, we are currently below the cloud, but more also because we just moved sideways out of it, so it's really not that convincing. We are below the 55 moving average, but again we've been dancing around that, so it's really struggling for momentum. We need to see a break of those two levels before we can get anything meaningful out of it. Silver contract formed this bullish engulfing, which is quite rare in FX markets, and since this is the spot one, then well, it is fairly rare, but we saw a bounce before we actually tested 21.90, and I think we will see a move up to around 23.5 maybe, where we have the 55 and 200 moving average coming down. So in general, also locked in there. The copper futures contract took out the 372 support area, and if we look at the weekly, that is actually quite interesting to look at the weekly chart. As you can see here, and let's expand it, and that tells us a little bit about what's going on. We have the 100 moving average coming down, we have the 55 moving average coming down, we are below the 200, that is still rising, but we are below all moving averages and they're declining, and we could see a test of the 354, 355 support area fairly soon. It looks quite heavy for now, I would say, on copper. I can't see any upside short term at least. Energy side to round off this session with. In the bigger picture on WTI, crude oil, we are just range bounding, but if we look at the daily, and let's see, oh yeah, it's a little bit slow, sorry about that. I'm working from the home office. WTI bounced off the lower rising trend line, testing the 200 moving average. We have the 100 coming down, kind of putting a lid over the upside potential, despite the fact that we have RSI in a positive sentiment. So I still think we will see crude oil being range bound between 72.5 and actually below 79, not even testing this strong resistance. But if it does break above, well, then we are in a complete different situation. Brent oil also more or less the same picture, hovering around these 82, 83 levels here, and with a strong overhead resistance. Finally, on the US 10-year, interesting development Friday, and really a level to look out for. 420, almost touched it Friday, a break above, and preferably also a close above. Close above would really confirm it, but a break above could lead to 429 and 438, possibly higher, but that will be the area where we also have the 100 moving average coming down, giving some resistance, and we also have the cloud area that will also do that. We still need the RSI to move back above 60 for further upside potential, but look out for 420. All right, that's all for today, this Monday. Have a nice day and happy trading.